Alright, let's get this new year underway. I've been thinking about it and I really want to start this new year how I mean to continue. You know, started off on the right foot. Oh my God! Hi and welcome back to the Inside of My Head, where I've just finished reading Last Bot Standing. And without getting into it too much, there's a couple of moments in there that were pretty dark. Some others that were kind of weird. But it made me think about some of the other horrific moments in Transformers. There was the moment that Prime turned grey. There was the moment Farmer chainsawed Ambulon right down the middle. There was seeing Optimus's random outbursts of hyperviolence. There was Red Shirt Cliffjumper being cut in half in Bumblebee. There was Wheelie trying to hump Megan Fox's leg. That was pretty horrific.
Say my name.
But you know how it is, guys. Right now I gotta do the YouTuber plug. My channel covers a lot of different things, but if you're into Transformers, Monsterverse, Pacific Rim, so essentially monsters and robot stuff, basically, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. I've got a number of Transformers related vids in the run-up to Rise of the Beasts. I'm gonna rank the different Transformers series. I'm gonna look at the weirdest Transformers designs. I'm gonna look at the alternate modes of all of the bots that we have confirmed so far in Rise of the Beasts. And of course, I'm gonna do top Transformers kills. I really like doing the top kills ones. Like, it's just, you know, the bloodthirsty side of me that gets the... But this one is about those moments that remind you that there's way more going on in this universe than just the cartoon violence of the original series, or the Bayverse and its action sequences that were just so over the top that you kind of become numb to it. Like, it's so dark in places. I remember the first time I picked up one of the comics, it was so harsh. There was robots literally ripping each other's heads off. I was not prepared for that. It might have emotionally scarred me for life. Another emotional scar, that is. But for this first entry on this list, let's talk lobotomies. I don't know why I said it so, like, happily. Little lobotomy. It should have sounded more like lobotomies. Now, if you're a Transformers fan, there's a good chance that you already know Web World, because many fans consider this ep from the third season of Gen 1 to be the most disturbing of the original series. Basically, during a battle, Galvatron goes kinda apeshit. Like, if you think you've seen him hell-bent on killing Autobots before, nuh-uh.
Strategies for cowards!
Here he turns into like this rabid Rottweiler, snarling and smashing his own troops out of the way, going like, nobody stops me from killing Autobots. And he just goes on for the whole like first 10 minutes of the ad. So Cyclonus and his fellow Decepticons, they're like, this dude just ain't right. And they come to the conclusion that he has to be treated. So they trick him to going to this planet called Torculon, which is kind of like an insane asylum planet. And it's this entire planet devoted to disturbing and invasive forms of mental health care. Didn't give me flashbacks at all. Get that needle away from me! So basically this episode is like Transformers' take on mental illness and society trying to put a band-aid solution over it. This planet is inhabited by this race called the Torculi. These kind of 8 people who keep their patients in cages for the duration of their treatments. Then they put Galvatron in a straitjacket. Then they bring out these sort of spider creatures to enter his mind and cut out the damaged intelligence and normalize him. It's basically a lobotomy. And oh my God, you really feel the helplessness of Galvatron in this one. Like, you kind of veer between hating him for being such a mental nutcase who can only moronically scream, kill death, and must kill Autobots and stuff like that, and then crying like a demented baby. Like, like, he really does come across as someone who has a genuine mental problem. Especially when he picks a fight with that T-Rex. Oh, hey, me. All right. Yep. This is awkward. Maybe just roll the clip. Yeah, I'll do it. I hate you, me.
Are you threatening me, beast? Stop.
There's definitely an underlying message about how quick society is to dope you up with pills or lobotomize you as they did in days gone by, and about how absolutely terrifying it must be to be caught on the wrong side of that situation. Luckily for Galvatron, the other Decepticons realize that crazy Galvatron is better than lobotomized Galvatron, and his crazy turns out to be too much for the planet to absorb anyway. I'd mentioned that, right? That the crazy comes out of the mental patient and gets absorbed by the planet itself. I didn't need to mention it. It's a given. It makes complete sense. But anyway, he gets loose and destroys the planet's core before popping off to psychotically murder more Autobots, probably. But this is on the list because basically, as evil as Galvatron is, in this ep you feel that this punishment is too cruel even for him. Let's talk
Betrayal.
Obviously, Starscream betrays more often than he eats Energon snacks, right? But what's the worst example of betrayal in Transformers? I reckon that award would go to Sunstreaker in the All Hail Megatron comic. Basically, this guy had a bad experience with a human headmaster called Hunter O'Nion and generally became sick of the war. So he gave Starscream the override codes to the Autobots' ship, which helped them ambush Optimus and the gang. Optimus was like put in a coma, he nearly died. Megatron took over half the Earth and the Autobots nearly ripped each other to shreds while trying to find who betrayed them. So that one was pretty bad, because it's not often the Autobots that betray each other. Decepticons do it all the time. But the betrayal that I really did not see coming was in Beast Machines, when one of my old favorites, Rhinox, at one point suddenly flips and sides with Megatron.
This is Megatron's doing, but I can help you. Stay away from me. Megatron isn't the problem. You are.
It's a twist many didn't see coming. I guess mainly because Beast Machines did tinker with the characters' personalities in some pretty random ways, in some pretty confusing ways. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about cannibalism. Cannibalism! Because yeah, that's something that's rife within the Transformers universe too. Because then there was the whole thing where Beast Wars Megatron tries to eat the sparks, yes, the robot equivalent of hearts, of fellow Transformers in Beast Machines. Well, I mean, that's what they say anyway. My interpretation of that was that because he had become like an energy being himself at that stage, was that he was more like absorbing the energy of other bots. So still not exactly pleasant, not exactly a nice thing to do, right? But not quite as disgusting as cannibalism. At one stage, there was also these mechanical creatures called mechanibals that eat Transformers. But again, they're not Transformers themselves, I don't think, so you might not exactly call it cannibalism either. You could also mention the Scrappers from Transformers Prime. I think that's what they were called.
Actually, they're called Scraplets.
That's what you get! That's what you get, Dave! That's what you get for being right! Coming in my videos, just being right about everything. Are there little potatoes coming out of your head? But again, if eating steel is your sole function, to me that's not really the same as cannibalism. But in IDW's anthology series, Transformers Galaxies, the Insecticons were definitely cannibals. And even worse, they would eat the dead. And even worse than that, it was the Autobots who told them to do it. So hear me out. Basically, there was this battle called the Battle of the Threefold Spark, which left a battlefield littered with a huge number of corpses. And rather than go to the hassle of moving and disposing them, the Autobots were just like, just let the Insecticons out, they'll eat them for sure, no problem. What they didn't anticipate is when the Insecticons assimilate the Energon from the sparks of dead bots, their bodies process it and somehow it ends up making even more Energon, which then got weaponized by the Constructicons, but I guess that's another story. Cool story though. So yeah, I wasn't aware of this either, but apparently there's been organ trafficking in the Cybertronian universe for generations. There's a whole seedy underbelly to this universe where bot parts, i.e. organs, are bought and sold on the black market. In IDW's More Than Meets the Eye series, Ratchet and co. end up investigating a series of mysterious deaths in medical facility Delphi on planet Mesotine. Turns out the bot running the facility is this bot called Farmer, made a deal with the Decepticon leader to keep him supplied with robot parts harvested from dead patients, and in return this Decepticon would leave the facility alone. But from there he started needing more and more parts, so Farmer began offing patients that could have otherwise survived. Harsh. Luckily Ratchet does the right thing and But that's not all. Transformers Galaxies introduces the Splice Thieves into the canon. So from what I understand, these are a faction of bots who go way, way, way back, even before the formation of the Autobots and the Decepticons. And their specialty is to strip out a bot's vital organs while they are still alive, to sell them on the black market, of course. Now in this storyline, Ultra Magnus arrives at this mysterious planet while on a search for Alpha Trion, and finds all of these bots just hanging from the ceiling, loads of integral parts missing, begging for death. It's horrific. Sometimes just because they're bots, it can make you think, oh, that's okay then, it's like zombies, you do whatever to them, it doesn't matter. But don't forget that these guys aren't just automatons, they have characters and feelings, so this is pretty unsettling. Right, so this one is from one of those Japanese versions of Transformers called Transformers Super God Master Force.
Suits!
It's some kind of spin-off, I don't know exactly what's going on, but from what I can tell, there's these kids who've sort of been deputized by the Autobots, and another group that have kind of been deputized by the Decepticons, and they get these Transformers-style sort of mecha suits whenever they need them. Now, in this particular app, the junior Decepticon guys are feuding with this gang called the Cool Gang. And when they finally beat these rivals of theirs, the junior Decepticons celebrate by going on a crazy mad rampage. So the junior Autobots come in to counter them, but in the middle of a fight, some guy gets trapped under some rubble, and this little dog called Pisu leads the Autobot kids to this guy. They start digging him out. But in the midst of all this, the leader of the Decepticon kids kicks the dog and kills the cutie little yapping machine. That's not cool. It's really fucking sad too. Like the little girl who owns the dog starts crying and throwing rocks at the bad guy, yelling, "Give me back my Pisu." Oh my god! And if you're expecting the dog to show up at the end again with a little bandage tied around his head or something, no. Because it ends with everyone crying their fucking eyes out, laying a wreath on the dog's gravestone at its funeral. And I want to end with mass murder. Now, I'm sure we've seen various planets destroyed across the Transformers franchise, but the one that really sticks in my mind is in Transformers the movie, at the very beginning, where Unicron shows up and just absolutely rips that planet to shreds. There's people trying to flee for their lives. There's like people screaming. It's horrific. And the number of casualties, the number of fatalities there must have been in the millions. Like here, there's a guy who nearly gets away. He thinks, yay, I'm safe! Oh no. We got these two just having a chat about what a lovely, amazing day it is. We got these kids just running around, happy. We got robotic Albert Einstein over here. He's just cured cancer, Alzheimer's, and malaria. But no, here comes Unicron. Ah, shit. I love how a race this technologically advanced hasn't detected this planet-sized robot speeding towards them. Like this is the moment where they go, oh no, it's Unicron. Where did he come from? Like, what are all these fancy looking instruments for? Are they just for fucking decoration? Robo Einstein's like, what happened to the LiDAR I invented? That would have detected him. And his assistant is like, well, I'm pretty sure no one took it home to scan their robo junk and send to random fembots. So, must be here somewhere. And the worst part, the very worst part, is that Unicron destroys this whole entire planet, this whole entire civilization, just to light up his fucking ring?
It helps me see where I am going.
And nobody get in the comments going, actually, it's his fuel source. I get it, I get it. So here's to you, Unicron, you genocidal maniac. Okay, guys, let's leave it there for now. If you can think of any other horrific moments in Transformers, get in the comments below. I'm always interested to see how far they can take this franchise. I need to take my meds. So until the next one, thank you very much for watching and cheerio, bye.